Sharpton, in my estimation. She could hardly say the words structural and systemic. She stumbled on the words. I've heard them so many times before. They're out of the playbook, of the crazy college playbook. Let's go to the callers on the Savage Nation across America. Karen in Washington, D.C. on WMAL. Go ahead, please. You have your time in the sun on the Savage Nation.
Good afternoon, Dr. Savage. I'm a Baltimore native. I was born and raised there. My father was a veteran of World War II and then spent 43 years in the Baltimore City Police Department. So I have a close view, and I'm very aware of what's going on up there. My elderly parents still live there, and I worry about them. I don't think the place is safer. But my point is, and you've touched on it, and it just brought to mind that these people that are running the city now, the mayor and now this district attorney, they have a win-win situation. The mayor, when she had the stand-down order, it made me sick to see those officers retreating while they were being thrown bottles and rocks and bricks.
And by the way, they were also sent out there without body armor. By her, by the mayor. But go on, make your bigger point.
It broke my heart. But the win-win then continues to these charges that are baseless right now and over the top. So from the first situation with the stand-down order, there's a lot of police officers that are going to say, the heck with this, and they're going to leave. And yes,
they should leave. They should just abandon. They should abandon. They should take an early retirement. They should get out of Baltimore and let the gangs run the city. And then we'll see how the big mouth has to say in a few months or a few years when all the decent cops leave.
Well, the mayor had just attended a conference up at the White House. She was one of 3 mayors, and they were talking about federalizing the police force.
Yes, of course. Well, that's what Obama's wanted from the get-go. Do you remember his clip that everyone forgets from the early days about the National Security Force? Do you remember that one?
Absolutely.
Hold it. I want you to. So I'm going to do something that's very important for you on the Savage Nation. We're going to play Obama on a national police force before he became president, and then the street rat Al Sharpton in a cut from today. Listen to the two of them.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded.
We need the Justice Department to step in and take over policing in this country. In the 20th century, they had to fight states' rights, and to get the right to vote, we're going to have to fight states' rights in terms of closing down police cases. Police must be held accountable. I don't think all police are bad. I don't even think most of them.
So you see the game here. The mayor of the city, the Baltimore State Attorney, the DA in essence, they're all reading the same script given to them by somebody. Do you agree with me on that, Karen?
Absolutely. I thought that. I listened to her live this morning. I was listening to a radio station out of Baltimore and heard her live, and I could not believe, and I could just tell by listening that she was reading a script.
Yeah, she read a script, rushed to judgment, no due process. How could she have come to these conclusions in 3 days? Can you explain that to me?
No, this was...
Have you ever seen another case like this where such a case was brought in so short a period of time? It's impossible. Even Eric Holder's federal case, attempted federal case in the case of Ferguson, do you remember how long it took for them to do due process? To conduct due diligence? Do you remember how many months it took? And eventually they could not bring charges against the officer Wilson and Ferguson because there were no charges to be brought. This one rushed to judgment. She made the whole thing up.
And Dr. Savage, what will happen when that's shot down, then we're going to really see the rioting begin.
Right. It's going to happen again. So she set it up so that the poor youth, her friends, are justified to burn, baby, burn again.
Yes.
If I lived in Baltimore, I'd sell my property and get out. It'll be hollowed out and look like Detroit after the corrupt mayor was finally arrested.
I begged my 90-year-old father to take, he's got license plate holders that say Baltimore City Retired Police. He is so proud of his service to the city during a time. He was there in '68 when they rioted after Martin Luther King was assassinated, and I remember my dad being gone for days and days on end.
Karen, they have one motto there. It's called "Burn, Baby, Burn."
Now, Harm City. It's not Charm City anymore. It's just,
well, my heart goes out to you, Karen. Listen, all good people of Baltimore know what's coming, and they know the handwriting is on the wall. Karen, I'm sending you a free copy of my new novel, Countdown to Mecca. God bless you. Thank you. Stay on the line. WABC, New York, Fausto, welcome to the program. Fire away.
Hi, Dr. Savage. I'm a cop in Newark, New Jersey. As our blood flows in the street...
Remember this case. You keep changing your name, calling the show for years. I'm sorry. I can't take it right now. I know he got dumped. WABC in New York. Joe, welcome to the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Dr. Savage. I'm a retired police captain, actually, from big city in the East Coast in New Jersey. Just an anecdotal story regarding a job we had one time. We were in the 5th floor of a building. It was a 5-story building, and the person we were trying to apprehend was on the 4th floor. Long story short, while we were searching the apartment, I noticed the window that was open. Typically, we cover the building on the outside, but there were no fire escapes, and the fact that he was on the 4th floor, I didn't think anyone would jump out the window.
Right.
In this case, he decided to, I looked out the windows, I saw it open, and I saw the subject getting up from hitting the ground. Right? So he's staggering to try to get away, and he's walking around, and I yelled to my officers to go downstairs and try to grab him. One of my officers ends up apprehending him, and in the course of this, there's a struggle with the subject. Gets him handcuffed, he brings him to the front. Now, I know this person has to be injured because I basically witnessed him fall from the 4th floor window.
Right.
He's staggering over, he's screaming about his back and everything. So I said, okay, listen, uncuff him, he's got to be injured. I go to the hospital. We take him to the hospital. Check him later. He said he ended up having a broken neck and a broken back. He was still able to fight my officer.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Some of these perps have superhuman strength. People don't know that.
Correct. And this was early in the morning. I mean, this was 6 a.m. And the subject told me, "Hey, I was trying to hang at the window until you guys left, and that's all I remember." So he slipped, and he fell off.
Oh, but Joe, the point of the story is, were your officers indicted for homicide?
No, not at all. Now, I was on the scene, and obviously I knew the person had to be injured because it was a 4th floor fall. Now, if I hadn't been on the scene, I don't know if it could have gone a different way. Because the subject did struggle and put up a fight with my officer, they might have just handcuffed him and brought him to the jail, and nothing would have happened, but the subject sustained these injuries, and they might not have ever even known it had he not been taken to the hospital. The point being, you don't know what...
Wait, Joe, I want to ask you something. You know this case from the get-go. The Fraternal Order of Police is calling on a prosecutor to recuse herself. You know she rushed to judgment for political reasons. Do you actually think these charges are going to hold up?
You never know, but... it absolutely was a rush. I never saw anything like that.
I never saw a 3-day set of charges, a charge sheet in 3 days. Have you? Here's the thing. In Baltimore, the charges will hold up. Therefore, they cannot get a fair trial in Baltimore. Therefore, that case needs to be tried outside of Baltimore. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't know...
Wouldn't a jury of their peers mean all white jurors?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Well, no, you say a jury of your peers. So who are the peers for white police officers?
I see what you're saying, but, it's got to be...
I know, it doesn't apply in the case of white police officers. I get it. Unless they're handpicked by Al Sharpton and his goon squad, they're not going to be jurors. Stay in the line, Joe. I'll be right back on the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUY-COIN. Here's another scandal that just blew up. Are you ready for this one? Bill Clinton and Chelsea are hiding in Africa. And Clinton donors are on the plane with them, a so-called safari. They're trying to raise money while doing good. Former President Bill Clinton and daughter Chelsea left early this week on a 9-day tour through Africa with a plane full of Family Foundation donors and supporters in tow, adding jet fuel to accusations that contributors are getting rewarded and courted for even more money. I'll make it very simple for you. Sean Davis, co-founder of conservative online magazine The Federalist, says this: if hopping on a private jet so you can go on safari with a bunch of rich celebrities now counts as charity work, then the Kardashian sisters should probably be eligible for sainthood. That's Bill Clinton. Hillary, of course, is the luckiest woman on earth. Not only did Mount Everest explode in the Himalayas, but Baltimore also exploded, wiping the uranium scandal from the front pages. You talk about luck, huh? When I come back, more on the latest news right here on the Savage Nation, 855-400-7282. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Stunning rush to judgment, the miscarriage of justice. I've never seen anything like it in my life. There's no question that questions remain about the Freddie Gray death. Let's start from that. But I've never in my lifetime seen a DA rush to judgment against cops as quickly as this in such a short period of time. There's no due process. She cannot successfully prosecute this case. She's way out of her league. She sounds like a child who was pushed to get ahead her entire life, first through college, then through law school. You can hear it in her speech. She's a child. And this child is not going to get away with this rush to judgment. I can guarantee you as I sit here, and I'll tell you what, I'll make a bet on this show right now that even if her false charges are upheld in Baltimore with a kangaroo court, it will be thrown out on appeal. And at that time, all the damage will have been done. And once it is thrown out on appeal, the same mob that she is now identifying with as her new friends will riot again and burn the city down again. Again, she said to them, she's one of them. In clip 6, listen to it carefully.
To the youth of this city, I will seek justice on your behalf. This is a moment. This is your moment. Let's ensure that we have peaceful and productive rallies that will develop structural and systemic changes for generations to come. You're at the forefront of this cause, and as young people, our time is now.
She could hardly read the speech written for her by someone. Structural and systemic. She didn't know what she was saying. The big lawyer there. Systemic. She didn't know what the word was. Structural and systemic changes. You're at the forefront of this cause. How could it be a cause? It's supposed to be justice she's seeking, isn't it? But no, it's a cause. So from the get-go, if I were a lawyer for these cops, I would say this prosecutor or DA says that this is a cause. This is not a trial. It's a cause for her, and she must be recused immediately. And then she further said that as young people, our time is now. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she's identifying with the rioters and the looters and the burners. I'm sorry. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. This is not to justify the death of Freddie Gray with a rap sheet as long as my leg. The guy looks to me with all of these arrests, drug dealer and a low-level street drug dealer. Possession of a controlled dangerous substance, false statement to a police officer, unlawful possession of a controlled substance, possession of a controlled substance, unlawful possession of a controlled substance. This is year after year after year. Controlled dangerous substance, possession of a controlled dangerous substance. The guy was a low-level street a drug dealer. Okay? And so the cops knew who he was. And there's no question that he was running because he threw the drugs away. How he got his neck broken is the question. So have a trial on that. But don't throw the book at 6 cops because you're a greedy, aggressive, political animal and you want a payday for your a lawyer, for your friend who's a lawyer for them. It's awful. This is right out of several different movies I've seen. Someone brought up the Salem witch trials using Arthur Miller's play, The Crucible, about the Salem witch trials. The witches today are the police. And now they're being charged in advance of a case. They're being made into the new devils. And it was all because of Obama's attacks on police for the last 6 years, however long this regime has been in power. From the get-go, they've been attacking the police. Him, Holder, the street rat Al Sharpton, attacking police, vilifying the police, making all police white devils. It's been going on and on and on until finally they finally have what they've wanted. And so they throw